Well, hello, farming friends, and welcome to another edition of Farming Simulator 2015 and our Courseplay Tutorial series. Today we are going to cover how to harvest your fruit trees automatically and sell off the fruit with Courseplay. This is for those of you using the UPK and the Apple mod, or any of the Rosenthaler fruit trees. This will work for all of them. It is advanced courseplay techniques, so I hope you guys enjoy it. There are a few steps involved, so let's get started. Basically, what we are going to do is we are going to lay out a route in courseplay to take our trailer underneath each fruit tree, stop for 10 seconds or so, and then pull off to the next fruit tree. We'll run the consistent route all the way through, and then we'll take those fruits that we have harvested, and we'll take them, in this case, over to our sell point and sell them off. So let's get started. And first thing we got to lay out a tree underneath all of our trees. Now, here I've got a pretty large apple orchard set up, and so it's going to take us a little bit of time to do this, so bear with me on this, okay? So we're going to go into Courseplay, clear out any course you have up on here, and we're going to start recording wherever you want to start in your field. Mine is going to be right here next to our first set of apple trees. I'm going to start recording my course. And basically, I'm going to drive my tractor through here. Now, you could do this with a trailer on if you wanted to harvest the fruit while you were doing it. Let's say it's a one-time through the field that you want to do it. You're going to pull underneath your tree here, and your trailer would be hooked up, and it would start unloading the apples. Well, right here, we want to set a wait point, and that's going to tell our vehicle to sit here for a duration and collect all the fruit. Then we're going to move to the next tree, and we're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to pull, in my case, I'm going to pull just a little bit past the tree and set my wait point, because I'm going to imagine that I have my trailer right here and it needs to be underneath the tree to actually unload it. Now, if you're using a particular mod, like let's say the little Rosenthaler VW bus, or you're using another mod that is a self-propelled that doesn't have to pull a trailer or something like that, maybe you've got Unimog or something like that that's modded that will accept fruit, which I haven't been able to get the Unimog to do fruit, so I just say that. You would, stop wherever your vehicle loads the fruit, and that's where you're going to put your wait point, okay? So just every tree has to have a wait point, and this is going to allow you to come through the field, stop at each tree, and load it up, and the tractor will sit there and take all the fruit off the tree. Now, I've tried this several different ways, and it took me a little bit of experimenting to get this down pat to where it functioned the way I like it. I've done everything from record a zigzag course through here and just crank my cruise speed down to 1 mile an hour. And then just let the tractor crawl through the field to unload, and that worked. But the problem I had with that was, if you're on a larger map where you've got to go to the sell point quite a ways away from where you're at, your vehicle is stuck crawling at 1 mile an hour all the way across the map, because this is not a plowed field. This is considered street speed through here. And so if I did have to crawl through here at 1 mile an hour, when I got on the street, I would be crawling at 1 kilometer or 1 mile an hour, however you want to say that. And I would have issues with that. I made a little bit of a boo-boo, got a little too close to that tree. So I'm going to back up here and modify my course just slightly. So I can do that by hitting pause, hit the trash can a couple of times to get rid of those waypoints. And then I can pull a little bit wider to this tree, put down my wait point, and then I'll make my turn to my next row. Now, so basically what we're setting this up to do is the tractor's going to follow the path through here. It's going to pull past the thing. When it hits the wait point, it will sit, and we're going to tell it later on how long to sit at that wait point, and it will set up the duration for it. Now, I've found that to unload a fully loaded fruit tree, you need about 12 seconds of time, and that takes consideration pulling up to the tree and pulling away from the tree. Now, if you're not really worried about it, you could give yourself about 14 seconds of wait time, and I'll show you how to set that up in just a moment. But 12 seconds is the bare minimum I can get away with a fully loaded tree loading into the trailer, and that would be from the load as it's approaching the tree, stopping for 12 seconds, and then still unloading the tree as it pulls away. So really 12 seconds is your bare minimum. You probably want to give yourself about 14 seconds on it doing this. And so I'm just coming through here, like I said, and I'm getting close to the tree so that I make sure I hit the trigger with my trailer, and then setting my waypoint up right afterwards. I know it takes a little bit of time, but we're almost done. This is not a huge orchard like some of my other ones that I have, though I am getting ready to expand this one. Alright, so we are pulling on through here. This is going to be our last tree, and I think that might be a little close, so I'm going to drop that off there, pull up just a little bit further, and put my waypoint right there. And that's my last apple tree. So I'm going to pull on around here. I'm going to head back to the beginning of the course where I came into the field, and I am going to bring it right here to the exit of the field. I'm going to stop, and I'm going to save this course, and we'll save this as Apple Collection. Alright, so that course is saved. And now we just have to consider what we're going to do with the apples after we have collected them. Now, in my case, I'm going to my little bulk sell point over here that I have, my little UPK bulk sell point. So I'm going to record a course now to go to it. And that's real simple. I just start recording a course. And I'm going to drive over to it. Now this one just happens to be right here at my grocery store, which is right next to where my apple orchard is, conveniently placed. I'm going to pull around here to it, and in this case I can just kind of drive over it, make my turn wide, and then I can drive on out, and I can go back to my field. Now, you may not want to do a separate sell point on your particular map. You could just do this at the end of your apple collection route. You could just continue on out of the field, drive over to your sell point, and have it trigger off and dump out your apples. The reason I'm doing a separate sell point is I have multiple fruit trees, and I want to use one route with each of my trees. So by recording a separate sell route, I can, in Courseplay, I can harvest my apples, then have it drive the sell route. If I want to do pears, I can do my pear route and then tag the sell route on the end of it, and it'll run that. And you may be confused about that, but I'm going to show you how that works. So we're going to save this one, and it's just going to be called Fruit to Sell Point. Alright, so now I have all my courses saved. I'm going to go to my course here. I'm going to I have 2 apple collection routes. Now we're going to have to do a little figuring out why I have 2 apple collection routes. Oh, I have my old one where I did a test a little while back with just doing regular stuff. That's the good one. This is the original. No, that's... Let's see, clear that one out. This route here has all sell points on it, pause points on it. This one has pause points on it. I am confused now, but I'm going to delete one of them out, and hopefully I delete the right one. So we'll delete that one out. Come on, delete. Ah, good. This is the right route. All right, so as you see, I have my route here with all the pause points on it. I'm going to move these in, organize my routes real quick. I do have a folder called fruit trees, and I'm going to put these in. I have duplicate apple collections because I've tried this several different ways before I actually did this tutorial to figure out the best way to do it. So that's the reason I have multiple ones. Alright, and then my fruit to sell point is right here. We're going to organize, get everything in the same folders. And now that that is done, we can do it. Now you see I do have a pear route. I have already recorded my pear route. So if I pull that up, you'll see that I have a route here that runs all the way down here. And it goes through all of my pear trees. And it did the same thing. I've got the little markers up. Okay, so how does all this work? Here's what you got to do. We're going to use the grain transport mode to go through the field and collect all of our fruit. So let's set up. I'm going to go here to Courseplay Controls. I'm going to select grain transport. I'm going to load in my map for apple collection. So that's my route for my apple collection. Now, I want to sell my apples after I collect it, so I'm going to add on the fruit to sell point after that. So to do that, I just click that. And now you'll see I have two combined courses. I have the course that goes through, collects those, and then I have my fruit to sell point route afterwards. And that is set up so we can go collect our fruit. Now here's what makes this whole route work. You got to make one little adjustment in Courseplay to make this actually work. We're going to come here to the little gear settings mod, and we're under settings. You have wait time. Now, default, this is on 0, and that is basically an infinite wait time. So it will sit there and it will wait until you tell it to leave or you tell it continue. But by going in and dialing it up, I can adjust the amount of time that my vehicle sits at a wait point. So in this particular instance, like I said, 12 seconds is the minimum. Let's go up to 14 just to make this work for demonstration points. I'm comfortable with 12, but for the video, I'm going to do 14 seconds. With that adjusted, now all I have to do is drive the course. Now, typically in grain transport mode, you would say, what am I going to load? Because if you were doing a silo and the trigger point asked you, what do you want to load? Wheat, canola, and stuff like that. You would have to set this to whatever fruit you're doing. But because we're doing fruit trees and they're just going into the tipper off of their trigger point, you don't have to mess with that. So you can leave this set for whatever you want. But we're just going to go ahead and get in here and we're going to drive this course. So I'm going to come in here. And for this particular instance, I'm going to say first waypoint. It's going to drive in, come to the first waypoint, and we're going to go on through the field. And when it gets to our first waypoint, it's going to stop. Our apples are going to start loading in. And as you can see on the help menu, it loaded all of them in. And as soon as it figures out that it has reached 14 seconds, it will drive on to the next tree. And actually, 14 is quite long, so let's go down to 12. It managed to get all of the apples out rather quickly, and because I have driven through underneath these trees a little bit, so they're not completely full, some of these first ones. 44% is what some of these trees are, because I have driven through this field before on this particular save, doing some testing, and in that instance I don't have these trees at 100%. The pear trees are at 100%. So for this demonstration, we're going to run through here, and I'm going to crank this down a little bit lower so it doesn't take nearly as long. But again, the wait time is dependent on this setting under the settings, and again, that's the little gear icon, and I can adjust that based on what particular is going on. And in this case, since these trees are around 40% full, not 100%, I can turn that wait time down so we can get through this a little bit faster. But if you were doing this with a fresh game save and your trees were 100%, you would want that up around 12 to 14 seconds. And we'll demonstrate that with the pear trees in a moment. But as you can see, it's just going to roll through the field. It's going to go to each wait point, wait there for the duration that you have defined here under waiting time, and it will unload all of your fruit into your trailer and get those done for you. And just for video sakes, I'm going to go ahead and stop this here, and we're going to just move towards the end of the route because I don't want y'all to have to sit through the entire orchard. So we're just going to run over here. As you see, it works and it functions. And this is our last fruit tree here. I'm going to go to nearest waypoint this time, drive my course, continue, let it unload this last apple tree, which is already unloaded because I messed around with it earlier. Now we're going to go to the end of the course. It's going to hit the end of the course, and then it's going to proceed on with the cell route. And as you can see, it's running at the street speed. It's not crawling at any kind of slow speed. It's going the normal street speed. And so that way, if you have your cell point way away from your orchard, you don't have to, you can let CoursePlay do its own thing and adjust the speed. And it's just going to pull up to my cell point. Once it hits the trigger will unload there, and I will get my fruit sold, and my tractor will return back to the field, and it will actually, in this particular, since I don't have stop at last point or at next trigger activated, it will get to the end and it will actually continue again, unless I tell it to stop. So that's it for the basics. It's done. I can stop the driver and be done with it. Now for the pear trees, I do the same thing. Again, I've got my routes. I clear out. I go in and I load pear collection, add the fruit cell point to the end of it, and I just tell it to drive the course. And it will come over here. I'll tell it to drive now. Through the field it goes. And since those trees are going to be at a higher yield, we are going to have to up our fruit collection. As you see, they are 100%. So I'm going to tell this to wait for 12 seconds. As you can see, it starts to unload as it approaches the wait point. And then after the 12 seconds, it will start to drive off. As it drove off, we were at 8% still on that pear tree. So 12 seconds, just about enough. I could go down to 11 seconds and probably get them unloaded as well. So at 11 seconds, it's going to drive off at 10%, and it still gets it completely unloaded for me. So, like I said, 12 seconds is about right for a fully loaded tree, to get it fully unloaded for you, or at least really close. That time it was that got the full 11 second, and it pulled off with 12% left on the tree. So that's basically it for you guys. Now, if you wanted to use the sales kiosk for the fruit, you do the same process. You would go through, record your route through your trees. Then you can either continue on to your sales kiosk, pull around to the side or to the back of the kiosk, wherever the unload trigger is, making sure that you drive over the trigger, and then make your route back to the field. If you have a nice size orchard where you wanted to do multiple things, like you could actually set it up to drive, unload all the trees so that you have a full trailer full of fruit, and you could tell it to go to the sales kiosk where it would unload like 2,000 liters of fruit there, and you're going to have some leftovers. Then you could have it drive to the bulk sell point and sell the rest of it off, or you can have it drive into your warehouse and unload at the warehouse. So it just takes a little messing around, but the biggest part of the most complicated part of this is figuring out how to get Courseplay to unload your trees. And so that's where the wait point comes in, and that's where setting your waiting time is crucial for you on that. Once you get that part of it down, the rest of it is up to you how you want to use it. So that's it. That's how to sell fruit, or how to collect fruit and sell it with your with Courseplay. Hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial and found it useful. If you have any questions, please leave your comments below. And of course, if you want to see more videos like this, I have plenty of Courseplay tutorials in the Courseplay playlist. And of course, I do new videos on Farm Sim every single day. So if you're new to my videos and you want to see more, subscribe to this channel. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this little brief tutorial on Courseplay and how to use it for the fruit trees in the UPK mod. I'm Mistermoose. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again soon. Bye-bye. Hey, thanks again for watching this video, and if you made it all the way to the end, well, maybe you liked it. So give me a big old thumbs up. That like goes a long way. Also, subscribe to this channel. I will update the videos every single day, so there'll always be something new for you to see. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you'll come back again tomorrow. Thanks for your support.